students, I've just got home having taught you a little introduction to After Effects, and as promised I thought I'd make a quick screencast video that just goes over some of the fundamentals. Feel free to watch it over and over again until you get to grips with it. And really After Effects is about coming up with your idea and then just experimenting. Any questions you've got along the way you can just ask, but experiment, Google it, look at some of the videos, and good luck. So here we are in After Effects, and let me just cancel out of that. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new composition. I will go fairly quickly through this because I don't want the video to get too ginormous. So we're going to go composition, new composition, and let's give this composition a name. You could have multiple compositions, so we'll just call this one Exploring Basic Animation. And then ideally your frame size should be set to this one here. It really depends though where you want to end up putting this. So if it was a video for Facebook or something, you'd find it would be a different screen size than that. Then you set the duration down here, so we'll set this to 10, and then you set the background colour as well. Once you've done all those things, click OK. And now you can see we've got a composition and we're ready to start going. So let's just put a little circle on the screen and we'll animate it moving across. So if we grab hold of this tool here, the ellipse tool, if you can't see that one, click and hold and you'll see all the different shapes there. Choose the ellipse tool, we can fit it, we can select its feel and its stroke. But for now I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm just going to draw a simple little circle. Let's zoom out and move things around a bit. I'm on my laptop, so it's slightly smaller. There we go. So we've got a circle. I think I'll just scale that down a little bit. Now, remember in class I said about getting the circle's aspect ratio, as it were, to be in the middle there. So let me go inside here and explain that a bit better. So at the moment that's called its anchor point and it's sitting in the centre of the composition and not in the centre of the circle, and in certain scenarios that won't have the impact that you want it to have. So what we'll do is we'll grab tool number 6, the pan behind tool, and then we'll just click and drag on that and stick it in the centre like so. If I then switch back to the arrow tool and let's just put that to one side. If you hear any weird scratchy noises in the background, that will be my dog. She's having a little scratch. She might come and say hello, who knows. So here we are, the shape is now on the left hand side, and then let me close that down so I can show you how you'd have it. So we've got a circle there, and let's just animate it going from one side of the screen to the other. To do that we need to bring up the position property. Now as I said in class, if you toggle this little arrow next to the layer that you want to animate, and then you toggle the arrow next to transform, you can see the default transform properties. So that's one way of accessing position in this case. The other alternative is to select the layer and press P on the keyboard and you can now see just the position. If I pressed S, I would have just scale, or T would be just transparency, R rotation, and so on and so forth. Let's go back to the P and let's start it there and then end it over here. So I'm going to select the position stopwatch like so. And then I'm going to move the play bar to where my animation is going to end. So let's say it's going to take 3 seconds. And then I've got a few options. I can drag that across visually, or I can scroll on these numbers. I like to drag it visually. And when I'm dragging it visually, I'm going to hold the shift key down. And I can either drag it or I can use my arrow tools. So I think actually I'll use my arrow tools. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and then I'm going to hit my arrow tools. And it's going to allow me to keep it horizontal but move it across. Okay. Notice now we've got 2 keyframes, one at the start there and one at the end there. If I now pull the play bar back and hit the space bar, you can now see the animation playing. As well as hitting the space bar, let me just close some of these things down. I might have to move me over to the other side for a minute. As well as hitting the space bar, if you click on preview, there's also a play button there so you can start and stop your animation. Obviously it's not doing much now, but if we go back here I can play it along like that. Now if I feel like that animation's a bit slow, I can literally drag on the keyframes and bring them closer together. So the closer they are together, the faster the animation. The further they are apart, the slower the animation. So let's put them really close and then let's go back, hit the space bar, and now you can see the animation. If I just want to play this bit over and over again, I can grab hold of this little blue area here, pull it back to there, make sure the range says play the work area only, and now what you'll see is it's going to just loop over and over again. Okay, so it's only just playing that portion of my animation. Okay, now to make it less mechanical, I can make it go slow at the start, build up the speed and then slow down at the end. To do that, I right click on the first keyframe, go keyframe assistant, easy ease out, and then I go to the end keyframe, I right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease in. Now if I pull the play bar back, hit the space bar, you can see it goes slow at the start, speeds up, slows down at the end. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could, at the moment, every layer you add in will be 10 seconds. I can easily shorten that by just tugging on it like so. Okay, so now it's only less than 2 seconds long. What that allows me to do is I could then create another shape that comes in. So let's go layer, new shape layer, and let's grab a different colour circle this time, and then let's draw out the circle shape. Okay, and remember that pan behind tool, so I need to make sure that arrow is selected, select the object, grab the pan behind tool, drag it to the centre like so, and then I need to decide where this, how long this layer should last. So this is my second one, how long it should last, and also, oh, let me just undo that. So I want to see how long it's going to last and also where it's going to start. So let's start it coming in about there. Okay, so now we've got that and that. At the moment this object just appears on the screen, so let's just move it off. In fact, to be a bit more creative, let's start it the other side. Okay, we'll bring up the position tool again. We'll select a position keyframe where we want the animation to begin. So we'll start it pretty much at the beginning of the layer. Switch on the position stopwatch. Drag the play bar to where you want the animation to end, and then just tug it on. So we'll just pop it here. And let's also say we want it to come over to here, pause, and then get bigger. So let's then bring up, if I hold down shift, I can also bring up scale. So let's switch on the scale property and let's move it along, and let's now make it fill the entire screen. So let's go. So we talked a bit about transitions individually. Now let's go along and have a look. So pull it back, hit the space bar. Okay, if I want it to start a bit earlier, I can just literally drag the layer and then fiddle around with it until I'm happy. So I don't like the fact that that pink circle at the bottom disappears, so I'm just going to tug it out, and I'm literally just playing with the layers. There we go. So then I could maybe bring a title in or do whatever I like. So we're getting quite long on this video, so I'm going to stop that one there. And in the next video, we'll look at creating just a very simple title sequence.